Roger, go for deploy.
Rundle. Welcome back to Adventure Fit.
Alhorn, how are you?
Elhorn, yeah. Don't know what that was all about. Tom Elhorn.
Yes.
Elhorn. What's been going on, mate?
Mate, Lots been happening. Where do you want me to start, brother?
Let's talk about Unrivaled.
Cool, man.
And what's been going on there?
Unrivaled is going amazing, mate. So just to give you an update, we're doing some DNA testing, matching nutritional and physical programs to people's DNA. Absolutely loving it. Expanding really fast. Had some staff members, got rid of some staff members.
Yeah.
Got some new staff members.
Yeah.
So we're slowly growing. I've got an event coming up in May where we're really digging deep into hormones and how they affect your moods, your sex, your sleep, your energy, how you burn and store body fat. So that's coming up in May. Otherwise, just going through the motions. It's super busy with the startup. So we've been doing this now for about a year.
Yep.
So it's still in that startup phase, just absolutely under the pump, but loving it.
Yep.
It's just such an exciting time.
It's amazing how much more energy you seem to have when you're working on something that truly means something to you, you know, and you have that sense of fulfillment. Like, I don't know, do you think you'd be able to put this much time and energy into it if it was something that just paid the bills?
Oh, no, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, if it was something just to pay the bills, like you'd go get a job, working 9 to 5 where you'd have, constant income, you'd have security and you could switch off at 5 o'clock, and you'd just run that race. And there's nothing bad about that race. It's just sort of not for me.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in, it's very hard for me to align myself with someone else's vision. We can have similar visions, but ultimately many people are running or climbing a different mountain. And it doesn't matter which path you take, as long as you and your business partner or you and your relationship with whoever that is with is climbing the same mountain. It doesn't matter what path you take. But so I find it very hard if I was going to work with someone or into another company working a 9 to 5 or something like that. We're just climbing 2 different mountains. We're on a different path. So, man, I love doing what I do, and it's really interesting. Just recently, I'm like, am I truly, truly fulfilled? Because it's different from when I owned the gym. You used to see the transformations happening in front of you.
Yeah.
And now I've got clients all around the world. And one of my clients just recently lost 18 kilo.
Fucking hell. Wow, man.
Now,
nice.
Yeah, absolutely. He's added, 10 years to his life, right? And that's amazing. I've got postmenopausal women losing 10 to 15 kilo. We've got women in their sort of early 30s dropping just under 15 kilo to have babies. Like, it's literally changing people's lives. And I had this reflection the other day that I was still hungry for more. And, testimonials are fantastic. And I get these before and after photos and all of that. And it's just, what I had to get over the fact is Perry was amazing for me. She's like, you're literally changing people's lives. But because I wasn't seeing them every single day, like I did in the gym, I didn't think I was doing my job correctly. I'm like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I'll give and I'll give and I'll give and I'll give and I'll give.
Yep.
And eventually it's sort of, you burn the candle at both ends because you don't feel fulfilled in what you're doing because you're not there running their race.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if someone was to come into your gym and you're working out with them and you see them sweat every day and you can hang out with them and you're there with them, when it's, when my clients are from, as I said, all around the world and they're on, the other side of this country or something like that, you speak to them over Zoom or on the phone and you have your weekly contact and, it's a lot of contact as well, and that's why they get their results. But because you don't share their sweat, it's a different feeling, and that's something I've had to deal with in the last 6 months when these people are getting tremendous results. I had to try to find that fulfillment in myself and that confidence to go, no, listen, the program does work. You are changing people's lives. Just because you're not there with them, it was just a growth. It was just a self-worth issue that is constantly being worked on, and have to constantly remind myself that it's okay.
Yeah, it's interesting concept. people often talk about that balance between being selfish to be selfless, and giving, but then how much are you actually taking away from yourself? Did you find that when you were going through that, as you say, that stage of growth, that you were burning the candle at both ends? Like you were going through some I don't know, times of stress, or like, was there any part in your life that you can look back now with hindsight and go, maybe the reason that I had this approach to my business was because something was going on here?
It's interesting, right? So everything, where I'm at now, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, like everything has to happen for a reason.
For sure.
And you have to have these burnout periods to realize, okay, how can I prevent this from happening next time? And Perry, she's my absolute rock. She's incredible. Absolutely love her to death. She's my soulmate, right? And that's your mum, isn't it? Yeah. My beautiful girlfriend. Yep. And
the pause before girlfriend there was good to clarify.
Yeah. No, like, and you probably might know this, dude. Like, when you work by yourself, for a couple of days, you get in your own head, and it's very easy to get into your own head. And so I would be working on this, what I would think would be an awesome idea. It's like, I'm going to do this to the membership side and do this and do this, and I've got to create all these new video series and all of this stuff. And I'd spend 3 days on it, right? Staying up late, burning the candle at both ends. And anyway, I present the final idea to Perry. And she's like, what? Why wouldn't you just do it this way? I'm like,
fuck you.
If someone had just told me that 3 days ago, I would have not have done that and wasted 3 days, and I would have gotten away with a lot less work, So listen, in hindsight, I think you need to always learn from your actions. And, I'm very in tune with myself, and a while ago I had this really overwhelming feeling that I needed to meditate.
Okay.
And it's different. Yes, I meditate, and for years I've done mindfulness, and I just it just wasn't hitting my spot. I wasn't resonating with it at all. It was sort of a chore. I didn't feel relaxed afterwards. It just for some reason just was no longer me. And what it was is again, it's not that mindfulness meditation is bad at all. It helped me get to a stage, and it's just like mentors, right? You don't need a coach or mentor. If you're a PT out there and you've got clients from 3 years ago, you're probably not doing a great job, and yes, there's some merit to, there's more than just the training and the results to PT and stuff like that. So don't take it too literally. But, if... where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, mindfulness meditation. It got me to a point, but it's no longer me. And so I had this overwhelming feeling that I needed to change it up. And so I inquired about some Vedic meditation. All the gurus and, the famous people talk about TM. And, it's the one to go for and stuff like that. And Vedic meditation is exactly the same. It's just with a lot less ego attached and a lot less price involved, And so I sought out the best Vedic teacher in Melbourne, and I went to her house for 4 days, and she taught me all the techniques of Vedic meditation. I got my own personal mantra now that it's very sacred to me, and it's just it's absolutely a game changer in how I approach everything. And you need these little tools, because everything is a tool, right? And through life we build up these tools if your eyes are open. And this tool right now is really just got me to the next level. It's like when you're building a house and you go from using a hand saw to an electric saw or a power saw. Clearly, I'm not a builder.
To a nail, essentially.
And then, you upgrade to a more powerful one and things like that. And this upgrade that I've had in this meditation has just totally redefined what success means to me and how I run my life, and it's so interesting, dude, that what you think is important really isn't. These to-do lists that we have that at the end of the day, when we talk on a hormonal response, these to-do lists just release dopamine, which is one of our feel-good hormones. And so we feel like we're successful if we cross off our to-do list. But once you cross off the to-do list, what's next? More to-dos. You find it. It's like
it'll never be fulfilled.
No, exactly. And so I completed this meditation thing about 2 weeks ago, and since then I've gotten rid of my to-do lists. I've really just narrowed down onto, what's really important to me, and it's just the simple things in life. A while ago, I went very minimalist. It was after my Adventure Fit Everest trip, actually, where I came back and for 3 months took everything out of my room, and then for 3 months, whatever I needed, I wore, and I just kept that in my room. Anyway, after 3 months, I ended up with like 6 t-shirts, 3 pairs of shorts. And this is coming from having a full double wardrobe full of clothes, with 10 different colognes and
27 dildos.
27.
Well, that's what I counted.
That's what I've kept.
28, sorry. Yeah.
And so, and that was really good. That made me simplify things. But as time, it's like when you clean your car, it's really good. It's really fresh, and you can breathe, and you feel light. But over time, you leave the drink bottle there and some receipts, and it starts to get dirty again. And it starts to weigh you down. And so this meditation was just an incredible reboot to go, what's important? And now I'm looking around this house and go, this is, things are starting to creep back. If I want to either save money or just clear the clutter, emotionally and spiritually, just get rid of shit. And I've even just leaned out the business, so I got rid of a staff member that at the end of the day was probably just floating my ego,
right?
To say I had a staff member. And listen, she was great. She was a VA. It was all a learning experience. I needed to test what it was like working with someone overseas that's not a client. And so, and that I learnt a lot, but realised I need someone onshore who's going to share my same vision. And I've got, Perry working for me now as well, which is great. So yeah, man, it's just a lot has been going on. Super exciting. Lots of growth, dude. Lots of growth. So
I love it that, the growth isn't just, and it never has been, from the moment we really became close mates, it's growth, as I know when you say it's never just business growth or just doing this now, it's growth fundamentally to you, as it is with me, is yourself. It's personal growth, Yeah. It's funny when you say that word dopamine, man. I have a very interesting take on that, and I think it's really interesting to again look at the difference between the true self, your consciousness and your who you are as a spirit, and then your ego. And we're getting right into the spiritual realm here, as we always were going to.
Love it.
But you think of the way we've evolved in this human form, as a way to survive up until 2018, and everything is. So I've just kind of hit the nail on the head right there, but everything that we are physically and through the monkey mind and then through our ego and our identity is a way to survive, so every little interaction we have when we're lost in thought and when we're using our body, we're trying to survive. We're assessing the world for danger, we're making sure that if our anxiety is manifested, why is that? Am I hungry? Is there someone's going to hurt me? All this sort of thing, And hormones, to me, again, it's a survival mechanism. You have this thing like dopamine, and people are obsessed and addicted, to the nth degree with getting a dopamine release. They don't even know that that's what they're craving, but that's what they're craving. They are craving the feel-good hormone. But it's amazing that, and by no means am I anywhere close to being enlightened at all. But I'm open to meditation. I love meditation. I'm trying to find my way back into doing mushrooms again and MDMA for meditative purposes. And you look at all these things in your life when you take on that perspective and you go, wow, so many things I have in my life, that I do in my life, habitually recognize, whatever, to satisfy this need to feel good all the time. It's very interesting.
And then, this whole, at the end of the day, we are just reflecting light.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can go real freaking woo-woo and go, well, what is success? Why am I working for this? But then it's like we're trapped, or we live in this world that actually has solids, and we're not just, a spiritual being, which we are, but we have this outer shell that needs to be transported somewhere through this earth. And so then it's it's finding that balance of, yes, we're just air and versus, I want to be someone in this world and I want to make a difference, and it's finding that balance is the hard part.
Do you think it's difficult to want to make a difference do you think it's difficult to make a difference whilst maintaining that understanding that, we are not what thought is telling us? Tough one.
Well, you can. It's been proven. There's some huge influences out there that are, helping to shape the world at the moment. It's interesting, then it just comes down to self-belief and your purpose. Some people's purpose is they have to change the world and spread their message, past, present, and the future. It's going to be there. Is it my message? Is it my driving force right now? No, my driving force is a little bit different than spreading that global message. But what about yourself?
Well, it's actually really interesting. I think that the polarity of good and evil as well is also very important as well. I think if everybody knew if everyone was their true authentic self, and I have no merit to stand on here, but if everyone was their true authentic self and there was just good, there'd be no comparison, and that would always counteract to the yin and yang, and we'd find bad again because you wouldn't be able to recognize, I just had that thought when you were saying, that stuff about, people all have their place in the world. I wonder if Hitler had his place in the world of being Hitler, so that we knew and we learnt to fuck man, don't ever do that shit again, Yeah.
Well, how do you know you've had a bad day?
Well, the only way I know I've had a bad day is based on the comparison of when I've had a really good day.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. I heard that recently and I really resonated with that.
Yeah. And so what did you learn from this? Let's explore the recent meditation experience.
Well, I actually did it. So I signed up for a 10-day Vipassana retreat, which is a 10-day silent meditation, and it happens all around the world. And there's one here in Melbourne in May that I've got. And so it's you lock yourself off to the world, and you're in with a group of people, but you're not allowed to make any eye contact. So no eye contact for 10 days, no note taking for 10 days. First meditation in the morning is at 4:30. Last meditation is at about 8 p.m.
Wow.
And, you do different forms of meditation. There's, Vipassana is a style, just like mindfulness, just like Vedic. And so I went there, or I've signed up for that because I've done ayahuasca twice. I've done DMT numerous times. And I don't know what I'm searching for, but I think this evolution of self-growth, for me, where I'm at, I can't deny that.
Yep.
And so something will come about sitting by yourself for 10 days.
Yep.
The people that I've heard that have done it say the first 2 days are... the first day is exciting.
Yeah.
Second day, you're pretty freaking relaxed.
Yeah.
All you've been doing is meditating for 2 days.
First day's I'm fucking spiritual.
Yeah.
Second day's dude, I'm sick.
Yeah. Third day starts to get hard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is hell.
Yeah.
You haven't spoken a word. I can't even remember what I did 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So on paper, this ego that I have is saying, yep, you'll do it. That's my front ego. Also, my back ego is shit scared. I am really shit scared of potentially walking out before the 10 days is up. And I think it's going to be really interesting as a test of character and life of when things get uncomfortable. What do you do? What do you naturally do? I don't know if you've ever done yoga before.
Yep.
So when we do yoga, sometimes when you hold, certain poses, it gets really uncomfortable. And then just notice, what do you do? Do you change position? Do you shrug your shoulders a bit? Do you take an extra breath? Do you try and move out of that uncomfortable position because that's an instant reaction for you?
Yeah.
Or do you sit there and go, actually, what do I need to learn right now? What am I trying to run away from in life? And so I think when you force yourself into these retreats, because I think that's when, the growth will happen, when you've really got to isolate yourself and immerse yourself in this. I think that's where the growth is going to happen. So I'm really shit scared that, potentially I'll run away and then, you look at yourself, do you see that as a failure or what happens from there? And this is all the unknown, right? And
yeah.
This is the funny thing on reflection, I'm forecasting the unknown. What does meditation do?
Yeah, well, it keeps you in the present.
Brings you back to the present. Yeah. So I think it's just
all of being in the present.
All of this growth, man. I'm super interested to to explore what character comes out at the end of the 10 days.
Yeah.
Because ayahuasca is completely different to what I expected. Completely different. I think I went there wanting to find who I am and came out not, didn't get that answer that I was hoping for, simply for the fact that the answer I was hoping for isn't me.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so you have this expectation, and when you actually turn that expectation into appreciation, your life totally changes. And so I went into ayahuasca with all this expectation of just give me the answer, tell me what I'm meant to do. And you hear all these stories and you have all these crazy visualizations, but they're so subtle. They're so subtle that upon reflection, it really brought me back to the simple things in life. And then when I say you, I talk about myself here.
Yep.
I do DMT, and again, what am I trying to search for? What is it that I need to tap into? What's inside of me that needs to come out?
Yep.
And that's all it is. We have all these different layers, and we have on the polar ends of the spectrum, we have our front ego that thinks you're better than what you are, and it's there to protect you.
Yep.
And that's the ego a lot of people associate with. But we also have a back cover, which is our back ego, and that's there to also protect you. And that doesn't think that you're better than what you are or you're good enough. So you go back to school days. You know the answer, but you don't want to put your hand up because you don't want to get it wrong. You might get it wrong. You've got a social media post.
Yeah.
Right? I want to put it up, but I'm worried about the judgment, the criticism, so I might put something else better up. And it's, a lot of people are out there floating their front ego all the time, but both ends of your ego are there to protect you.
They're forcing us to fit in, aren't they? Yeah.
And so inside these two ends of your ego, you have so many different layers. And it's just, I don't even know where I was going with that.
No. It's just a stream of consciousness, really. Yeah. It's funny, man. I'm totally fucking 100% on the same path with you here, and it's very interesting. I've always felt very grateful to have been thrust into this podcasting, or I guess this content experience with yourself and Bill. For people that I did, and obviously still do look up to as very close friends of mine, but you had developed further in life, and I was a young kid. And the best thing that you both did was you never let me just be me. And you especially, man, you always played devil's advocate with me and I really do believe some, whether it's a spiritual sense or something, because you felt there was something there, that like we could really, grow together as mates, and you're talking about this front and back end ego, and you and I have spoken about this all the time, but it was that thing for me, that I can just see it all the time, is that, whenever there was like a quiet conversation or something, I'd make a joke or I'd do something like that. And, I won't deny that I do love making jokes anyway. I do just feel like I'm a naturally funny person, or like being, I love a good sense of humor, but it was doing it for the wrong reasons. It was an escape. It was an inability to just be calm in the silence, bathe in the moonlight and all this sort of thing. Do you feel like you can now look back on points in your life where you were doing things to satisfy some side of your ego? Or?
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Everything is on some part of your ego, considering, 2 minutes ago I was saying that almost everything is ego in this world. When you step outside your ego and you can just be your spiritual self. But then again, saying that I'm super spiritual has ego attached to it.
Yeah. We can't win, eh?
No, so it's really just which layer of ego are you playing and which one do you want to play at?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the Vipassana will, try to shine light on, which is my true self and what part of the spectrum. It doesn't matter if it's front, doesn't matter if it's back, doesn't matter if it's anywhere in the middle. But then I will have the choice of going, okay, if it's at the front or at the back, where do I want it to be? Who do I want to be?
Yeah. How can I use that?
What do I want to be? Absolutely. And in the past, there's been huge amounts of ego, from when you're an athlete and running your own business to now saying that, I'm changing people's lives all around the world. There's still ego attached everywhere.
For sure, of course. And I think it would be impossible for us not to, as we live in this human shell. You can't, we can't be, I think we just have to recognize that there is going to be some form of ego that always exists when the things we do and the people we speak to and what we say, but that's okay. You know, it's okay.
I see ego though as everyone's got it. As long as your ego is not to boost your ego by deflating someone else's.
Of course. Yes.
So I hold extreme ownership.
Yep.
For everything that happens, it's my fault.
Yeah.
If a butterfly dies out there, it's my fault because I wasn't there to save it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great. You know, Perry and I, we never freaking argue at all because it's always our fault. That is our ego taking responsibility.
Yeah.
That is not our ego passing blame. There's a big difference there. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So we could share huge amounts of ego. You could say, you're wrong, and that's your ego. And I could say, mate, it's totally my fault. You know, I wasn't there for you, or, you know, if what's something bad, you know, if you get hit by a car or something like that, it's not the driver's fault, it's mine.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't have been walking on the road, or I could have been on the other side of the footpath. Like that whole extreme ownership.
Yeah.
That's where I live in a place of. And I think if you were to point your finger out away from you, the solution is always away from you. But if you were to point the finger inside, the solution is inside.
Yeah, look, I think that's really interesting as well. I mean, lying is something that I used to make a lot of little white lies and things. You know, why was I late? Why was I not at school on time? All these sorts of things. You know, some of them were kind of just habitual, things like that, you know, and I'm talking late teenager, you know, that sort of thing. But lying is an interesting one to me as well. And I put a post out about it recently because I just wanted to hear other people's thoughts. Lying, depending on anywhere of the spectrum in terms of like, you know, lying because you're late or lying because you fucking murdered someone, whatever, is taking away that ability to grow because you're not being honest with yourself, you know? So I think that lying to get out of a situation is easy in the short term, but it's not right because you're putting this roof on your growth. You're like, hey, I mean, when I lie and I say something like, oh, fuck, man, I'm so sorry, the traffic was super late, you know? Something that I've said many times, you know?
The traffic was super late.
The traffic was super late.
Mate, I clearly know you're lying when you can't even get the sentence right.
Well played. The traffic was late. Hang on. Does that make sense? The traffic was late? What am I trying to say?
You're late because of the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I used to say something like, you know, I was late because of the traffic or whatever it was. And it takes away that thing of like, well, hang on a second. I could have just woken up earlier.
Exactly.
You know, I should have been able to figure this out.
Extreme ownership.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you read Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership?
I did. I didn't resonate with it.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh my God, it's the best. And, you know, that's cool. I just didn't. I thought it was okay. You know, it's like when you go and see a movie though, everyone's like, oh my God, this is the best movie. It's like,
Dude, it's just porn. I mean, it's good, but...
seen it before.
Yeah. No, I completely agree as well. I resonated with the principle, but the book of, you know, stories about what happened in the military and stuff, not taking anything away, it was just, the principle was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could have been a sentence for me. Dude, take extreme ownership. Like, oh, yeah, cool, understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, DMT, mate. This is something I'm trying to get into a little bit more now and just understand this. You know from my last experience with mushrooms that there's a little bit of fear that still resonates, not anywhere near as much as it used to, but just that what could happen of being so out of control. I've read up a lot of stuff about DMT and how it can be, for some people, very terrifying, you know, puts you at one with like all these sorts of things, you know. What was it? Did you ever experience anything negative? And when I say negative, not in the sense of like it was good in the end because it was growth, you know, but negative in the sense of like, whoa, this is very overwhelming.
No.
Never got that, eh?
No, that's probably not the answer you wanted. My view on it all is could be slightly skewed to the average Joe wanting to do it, you know? So I definitely want to put this out there that, you know, I'm not doing DMT every day, every month or whatever like that. It's a very spiritual thing for me. It's a very spiritual practice where, you know, I say a little bit, you know, to the medicine before I consume it. It's very sacred. I do a meditation and things like that. So I use it in a different sense. And so whatever comes, and this is my whole view, like whatever comes is perfect. Like where you are right now on your journey of wherever you are wanting to get to is perfect. And so it's, you know, whatever I see is whatever was meant to happen. And that's the whole thing with going to ayahuasca, because I had this expectation of, oh, I should have seen this. I wanted to see this. But everything that you need to see right now is what you're seeing.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing it, if you're not hearing it, you don't need to hear it right now. You don't need to see it right now. Because 80% of the stuff that we see is made up.
Yeah.
In fact, that our brain is constructing these images that we've seen in the past, and we're seeing different shades of light that reflects a guitar over there, right? And so our brain goes, oh, that's a guitar. And so we can be tricked into seeing things that it isn't actually there.
True.
And you'll know this from, you know, people's statements when, you know, a crime or something like that. Everyone will have misinformed judgments, and they'll swear black and blue that that's what they saw.
The dog was 8 foot tall.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, you even look at things like making a murderer, how they put this image into someone's head and they said, yes, then I did that. And so what you need to see right now is exactly what you need to see. So if I have that attitude going in, I trust that the medicine will give me the answer that I need. And for me, it's not the visuals. For me, it's the release of tension, of stress, of overwhelm. And once you can start to empty that, you can then start to fill back up. And it's just like when you go and earth yourself. I don't know if you've ever been stressed. Do you do much grounding and earthing?
How do you mean?
Do you ever touch earth?
Yeah, actually. I walk around in bare feet almost all the time, and I make sure that it makes me feel more centered.
Awesome. So if anyone out there listening, right, and you haven't touched earth, you have to think about, so we are just trillions of cells, protons and neutrons and electrons, and we create this same electronic field and energy as lightning, right? We're both made up of electrons, and what lightning needs to do to de-earth itself or to release the energy, these negative charges in it, it needs to come down and earth itself. And just like humans, we need to earth ourselves as well. And so when people, you know, in a typical day-to-day life, they wake up and they put their socks on carpet, and then they put their shoes on, and then they'll walk to the car to work to gym, gym to home. They'll take off their shoes, maybe put on slippers or something like that. And then they go to sleep, and they sleep off the floor, you know, and it could be days, weeks or months before people actually get their bare feet on soil or in sand or on grass, and especially during the winter time, right? So when we have all of these build-up of these negative charges, this creates a whole heap of worry and overwhelm and stress, and it can impact our sleep, our moods, our libido, our clarity, our energy. And so sometimes I just get an overwhelming feeling that I just tap into to go, okay, cool, it's time to do some DMT. I need to learn something from it. Or it's time to earth, or it's time to do meditation. Boom, book myself into 10 days.
Yeah.
You know? Or do a course and book myself into 10 days. So, listen, man, it's simply a tool. And when you're building a house, you don't always use a hammer.
No.
You know, you use a saw and a screwdriver and a chippy.
Yeah. And someone else.
You get someone else to do it. And so, you know, just because DMT's there, it's just like with any drug, you know, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to go and use it.
No, that's right.
And so I think if you just use it cautiously, chippy, absolutely.
Just use a chippy.
You got a budget for them.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, it does have consequences. You know, you can't just do it and you can just do it and go, well, that was sort of nothing.
Yeah.
Or you could do it and you could sit with it and you could reflect and go, right, what is the underlying lesson here?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and we release, if you've done ayahuasca or even DMT or any plant medicine, you release in different ways. Some people vomit. Some people have diarrhea. Some people yawn. Some people burp. Some people have the hiccups. Some people cry. Our body is releasing in some sort of way. So sometimes I've just had DMT I'm not even sad, right? But your eyes just start leaking water. It's like, okay. And then the first time this happened is like, am I sad? What am I sad about? I'm actually in such a great place right now. Are these happy tears? Well, what is this? And then you sort of just reflect, and it's just like, after this, you know, once you've had a good cry, you know, regardless from DMT or ayahuasca or anything like that, it's a lot of emotion let go.
Yeah.
And then you can be open to new learnings and lessons.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know, it's really interesting, mate. I've recently, so I'm just about finished my audiobook for my book, and the book's done. So it's coming out very soon, which is really exciting. And I was reading back through chapter 4, which is talking about my experience with the psilocybin. And I was looking back on it because I just wrote it in terms of like, this is what happened then, and this is what happened, this is what I experienced, and, you know, these vibrations are what happened next. And I was kind of looking, but this is the first time I've really read my book as it was, as the experiences that played out in my life. And I looked back on that experience with psilocybin, and I didn't mean to. I did not mean for this to happen, you know. I did it for a party, you know. I'd been doing shrooms, been doing psilocybin, you know, multiple times, and it was always just for a party, you know. I was fucking with it, essentially, you know. And I did this experience, and then all these things played out in my life. Mental health issues here, people unraveling over here, moving away from these people, volatile situations here and there. And I truly believe that what it showed me was that upon reflection, I mean, now as a 25-year-old, you know, and this experience happened 7 years ago, upon reflection, I'm looking back on it and I'm going, holy fuck, it showed me all the shit in my life that I needed to figure out. It took me to 7 years, you know, it took me 7 years ahead. And I needed to learn about, you know, a greater sense of self-awareness. I needed to get rid of those people out of my life. I needed to make sure that the dreams that I was following were true to who I was. I needed to do all these things. And it was a tough road because the anxiety that came from it was at times very, very, very stressful, you know, but it was so important, you know.
You wouldn't be here right now.
Absolutely would not be here, for sure. Yep, I'd still be playing footy. I'd still be doing all these sorts of things. No, not to say footy's bad, just wasn't me, you know. And I just find it fascinating that it worked in that way. It did, you know. It really was just a tool. It was just a tool, and I didn't even mean for that to happen, you know. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see where you are in another 7 years' time.
I know. I was going to say, I wrote at the end, at the final sentence of it, you know, I wrote, like, I think it's going to be interesting reading back on this now, this passage of writing, because, you know, I'm writing it thinking that I'm a somewhat more authentic person now, but I could be so wrong in 10 years' time. I just don't know, you know. Fascinating stuff.
Well, you do know, and this is the thing, dude, like, what you're writing now is what you know. It's a constant growth, and this is, you know, a lot of fear where people are like, oh, I don't know enough. Well, you know what you know now.
Yeah.
Right? So it's good enough for now. You know, who are you comparing yourself to?
Yeah.
What have they done? Are they 50 years older than you? Of course they're going to be wiser than you, you know. But yeah, man, exciting to see where you are in 10 years' time, 20 years' time. But even, dude, it's just going to manifest to you being a better father.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
What really comes down to it is where do you want to be and who do you want to be in life? And something as simple, like you could tell this story. Like, for example, when I, you know, tell my story of not getting in the fire brigade, people go, no, sir, it's just a job, dude. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's who I was. It's who my identity was.
That's right.
For 27 years.
Yep.
You know, I was nothing else but. So then to have that crush, and it's like someone doesn't take that on. And so you saying this story of like, oh, I did psilocybin. Like, I've done psilocybin. You know, I didn't think it was a massive deal.
Yeah.
Where it's a massive deal for you, and it will shape your life. Yeah,
definitely. That's right. And it was, absolutely. And it was one of those things, you know, 2013, it was, you know, a couple of years after that psilocybin, I got barred from making it to the VFL, and that, very similar to the fire brigade, fucking crushed me. You know, that was Tom, the budding AFL player for 20 years, 21 years, you know, and then I was like, whoa, shit. Who am I then? You know, because who we are really is just a construct of the thoughts that we think that we then take action on, you know, which is a very...
What are thoughts?
Yeah, that's right. Well, Gull? Yeah. I don't know. It's a very it just, I guess the whole overall theme of this resonates with me, that like we're fucking just a energy through this physical shell. I mean, if I can literally change the world's perception of who I am as a person based on like thoughts that I act on, then what the fuck am I? Do you know what I mean?
But your perception of the world and their perception of you comes from your thought.
Yeah.
We could look at the world right now and go, the world's fucked. It's such a bad place to live in. We could look at the world and go, the world is so opportunist right now. We have never lived in a better time. Look at all the opportunities. Look at the way we connect with people. Or you could go, fuck, the world is gone. Look at the way we connect with people.
Yeah.
Your thoughts create your reality.
It's true. It is true. And yeah. And there's that survival mechanism for it as well. You know, like when you get hungry, everything you see is like, oh, like that's a bit of food there. Like, you know, well, that's looking like tasty. You know, we have an inability to process like what we really do need to process to actually get an objective perspective of reality, you know? And when we're thinking about different things, we only see that, you know? So right now, like I'm in this very sort of, spiritual world. Sorry, that sounds a bit ridiculous. I'm very interested in spirituality right now, you know, more so than I probably have been forever in my life. Meditating every day, constantly reading things about it, you know, intrigued by these conversations. And my world is filtered by that sort of theme. You know, I'm looking at plants, I'm looking at things around here, and I'm just taking on that spiritual perspective, you know. 8 months ago, I went deep into this hole of politics. And everywhere I walked, you know, I was seeing people that I assumed to be left-wing, you know, people on the political, on the left side and the people on the right side. I was seeing conservatism everywhere, you know, and it's just fascinating to see that. I mean, I was assuming that when I was 18, 19 and I was very in the AFL mindset, everything I would look at would be like, oh, okay, I could pick that up for reps. I could get stronger there. I could like go out there and play on the, you know, just fascinating.
Ever bought a car, like for example, the next I've been looking at cars, not that I'm buying a car, but I'm like, oh cool, I reckon, you know, if I was to buy one, what would I look for? And all of a sudden I just saw a Volkswagen Golf. Like, holy crap, I like that car. And then I've seen it 100 times a day since then. It's like you get what you look for. Yeah, you know?
You got to stop being in the golf shop though, mate.
Oh, I know.
But it's true. I mean, it's the law of attraction, isn't it? You really do. I wrote down my ideal girl very specifically. I wrote down exactly what I wanted to say to her when I'd roll over and kiss her on the cheek, good morning. You know, I wrote down everything. And my current girlfriend is that to a T, you know, and that's not even weird to me because it's like, well, you know, that was a manifestation. Who knows what was going on in her life for that to happen? You know, this happens to people every single day, whether they recognize it or not. And that, yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, spirituality is just another form of religion, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's ego to say that you're spiritual. There's ego to say that I'm ex-religious, right? But it's just giving you, you just acknowledge that there is a higher power. And whether we call it energy, whether someone calls it God or Allah,
Allah.
Or Buddha. I'm sorry if I offend anyone. I really don't know
Allah,
that.
Jesus,
And so it just gives you hope. And everyone's like, well, you know, how are you so spiritual? It's like, well, just the way I like to sort of define it is just really tapping into your intuition and, you know, actioning your intuition. A lot of people don't sit down and have the time to reflect. And when you sit down and you actually stop and you reflect on what you want or what you don't want, what is poison in your life and what is medicine in your life, then you can start to understand and start to move to the places that are going to help you rather than hinder you. And so, you know, just check in once a day, you know, whether it be through meditation, whether it be, you know, Perry and I each night when we're lying in bed, we go over our lessons learnt for the day. Like that constant growth and reflection.
Standing in the sun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we we all want to be happy, you know, in life for as much of it as we can. And I think that understanding of the law of attraction takes on that responsibility of, you know, that self-responsibility of going, okay, I'm pretty fucking upset at the moment. Like, well, how much of that are you playing into? Like, are you someone that always beeps at someone for, you know, like on the road? Like, are you someone that always like lies, you know, doing all this sort of, like, we need to understand, I believe, you know, at least I do, that has a big part to play in how I see my world that I live in, you know? And I mean, even just anecdotally, like to just talk in the most layman way possible. The happier I've become, the more I've gotten into this, like the better my life's become, you know? So fuck, like it doesn't even matter if there's anything to it or not. I'm just a happier person.
That's it, dude.
You know? Yeah.
There's a book out there, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and he's a Holocaust survivor. And it's all about the mindset. It wasn't about actually necessarily the Holocaust and the war. It's about his mindset throughout the whole, duration of his time in Auschwitz. And he was just saying that you could see people give up hope and faith, and within 2 to 3 days they had died from an unexpected death. And so it was this will to live. You know, we have this will and this hope for happiness, right? But he said when he got out of the other side, he, you know, in the camp, he's like, we can't wait to get out of this camp. It's just going to be so much happy. Like happiness is just going to be everywhere we see or everywhere we look. They get outside the camp and they still see, I was going to say unhappiness. Yeah. They still see torture and suffering. And suffering, absolutely, because people then wanted to get back at the Germans. They're like, well, what are you going to do now for revenge? Yeah. He's like, no, I didn't get out to take revenge. You know, I got a way to escape this. And it goes back to do a full circle of what we talked about before. You get what you search for.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah. And it's a very volatile but very true concept, you know, because it's like, well, shit, like, I don't even know what I'm searching for, you know? Yeah. It's great. I love it. What's been on your mind lately anyways, you know, and taken away from the spiritual realm then?
Man, tapping into getting out in nature.
Okay.
Really, really have, and this is again, like on reflection, like everyone has these little thoughts, right? And if you can sweep it across, you know, out of your mind for a second, if it keeps coming back, I think you've got to act on that. Yeah. And for me, it's really getting back to nature, and I really want a place with some chickens. And, you know, really get and live off the land for a bit. So that's sort of been in my thoughts. But otherwise, dude, man, it's going back to
dude man.
Otherwise, dude, man.
Dude man.
It's,
dude man, all hurt.
Going back to business, dude. I fucking love what I do. So that's my growing passion, and seeing that grow rapidly is exciting.
And do you still go to the gym? Doing physical, like, strength training and stuff?
Yes.
How's that changed? Has that changed a little bit recently? Or last time I spoke to you, doing like 48 seconds worth of training.
Minimum effective dose.
Yes.
Dude, it was great.
Yep.
Fucking, man, I live the minimum effective life.
Yeah.
No, with maximum results.
Yeah.
No, listen.
Orgasm in 3 seconds. Oh, that was good. Good for you. See ya.
Well, you know, it's efficient, isn't it?
It's true.
No, so, and this is the whole thing, like, what are you doing it for? Identify what your outcome is. And for me, it was to save time. You know, for me, it was to prove something to myself and to really test the theory and to, really prove that working with your DNA is so fucking powerful. Yep. And for me, I was skeptical at the start, you know, and so I'm like, right, if I'm going to do this, I'm not competing anymore. I'm open for change, and I'm open if it doesn't work. I've got nowhere to be. Yeah. Cool. We'll just test it out. So it worked, and, you know, it was incredible. The results speak for themselves. And then, you know, is it exciting training? No. It's fucking really boring. Does it get results? Yeah. So, but how long can you go through the monotonous process of being super boring? Yeah. Yes, it's 36 minutes a week, and people are like, "Oh my god, you first world problem." Complaining about getting in shape for 36 minutes a week, you know. But you know, there comes to
a relative, mate.
It comes to a point where you get the results. You're like, "Cool, tick it off the list. It works." But maybe I don't value getting time back in my life as much as I value, you know, community. Yeah. And so, you know, I started doing something different, and you know, now I'm just doing some group classes and just doing some basic strength work. I still do the minimum effective dose. Yep. And then anything I get on top of that is added extra. Yeah. So, man, having a lot of fun doing it. And things come full circle. You know, it's just good training with people now, and meeting new people.
Finally, should we give a list of some lasting words, mate? Lasting words of wisdom. What's a mantra? Oh, what do you mind? Is that something that you have to keep to yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Not
cool.
even Perry knows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
cool.
very sacred.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we all each have one?
You will be given one by your instructor.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
By your master, they call them, or your shaman, or whatever.
Yep. Okay. That's something I'd love to explore. Yeah.
So a mantra just means mind vehicle.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about Vedic meditation is becoming super lazy in your meditation. Thoughts are going to occur, and it's at that moment where you think that you're thinking, or you realize you're thinking, you bring yourself back to your mantra.
Right.
And these thoughts are just little bits of stress, and you're de-stressing yourself with these thoughts.
Right.
But it's when you get trapped in these thoughts and you know you're thinking and you still go along with the ride, you're no longer meditating.
Yep.
Where mindfulness meditation is like, I've got to focus on something. And I was just tired of focusing.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to focus on my breath. I've got to focus on, you know, the air going through my nostrils. I've got to focus on my bottom on this
Bring
cushion. Bring it back to. And at the end, I just really wasn't refreshed at all.
Nah.
And then with this, with Vedic, it's 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening.
Okay.
And it's not about getting good at your eyes closed practice.
Yep.
You don't want to get good at meditation. Meditation is just whatever it is, and whatever comes up for you is perfect.
Yep.
Just like the DMT or the ayahuasca, like any type of medicine, whatever comes up for you is perfect. It's what happens. You're practicing your eyes closed practice for your eyes open practice.
Right.
Your eyes open world, and how you deal with stress in the eyes open world. And so that's where I found it just truly life-changing. Because mindfulness was good, right? And you bring it back to your breath.
It's a good entry, I think.
Before I eat and things like that. It's good just to check in. Am I actually really hungry? Like, I haven't eaten yet today.
Yeah.
And what's the time? It's it's only 11.
Yeah.
I got up early. It seems like a lot longer.
Oh, it's 8 a.m.
It's only 11:30. I was like, it's got to be at least 1 o'clock. Right, but mindfulness, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Yet people would wake up and go, man, I need to eat, because that's what the world tells me I need to do.
That's right.
Mindfulness taps you into your intuition. You know, what do you need to act on? Who do you need to let go? What do you need to do? Do you need to touch earth?
Yeah.
You know, just sit with yourself a bit. So that's what mindfulness is really good for.
Yeah.
Being mindful on how you speak to people, being mindful on how you listen to people.
Definitely.
And then Vedic meditation is put that on steroids.
Beautiful. Mate, I've got to go to the toilet.
No, it's been a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers,
and
mate.
That's a wrap.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.